Welcome back to Forge of Champions. My name is Scoundrel, joined by BP and Gosu, and we are having a bit of a spicy semi-final. I mean, we did say it was going to be the closest. We did think that we were going to see a lot of action to and from between these two very strong teams. It is shaping up to be a 2-1 for somebody. You have already flip-flopped, so you can't take it back.
I'm still good.
You're still good. You're still good.
Come on, XL. No bias.
Also, I'm going to apologise to anyone. We do have that little camera in the of us in the game, but it never usually happens. So I kind of forgot about it. Might have obscured your vision of these two wonderful gentlemen, as I did just walk straight past the camera. Kind of forgot it was there. Not going to lie, because when we're in game, usually we're off camera. So yeah, but it's bad. It was bad broadcast. Bad broadcast practice. Really bad broadcast practice from Scoundrel, including having a bottle on the table.
It's not your day. Like, this is not happening. Like.
That never happened. Yeah. Other brands of water are available if you did indeed see that brand of water.
Just cut it off.
Game over.
Right, let's move on. We're going to head on to picks and bans. I think we're into it already, so let's get going. Wow, I wasted so much time there. Brilliant. I'm actually just the best host in the world. All right, Yasuo and Swain ban for Diabolus. XL also banning the Zoe, and that is making a lot of sense to me because Zeph definitely showed his stuff. With Aurelion Sol automatically banned, I assume, it's unlikely that we'll see Zeph on one of his super high comfort picks unless he gets his hands on Rise.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see how they kind of play it, because time and time again, this Vladimir has given them trouble. I kind of want to see just Diabolus get rid of it. It's just too much. Like, the flex potential is just far too high. I mean, we've already seen Benzer on it, we've seen Rippy on it, and Sendo plays it as well. So just get rid of it. You don't have to worry about it, and it makes it a lot easier. But instead, that's a weird one.
Sejuani, yes, definitely. But maybe it means that they don't think they want to first pick it, and then therefore don't want to give it over to XL, so would rather just have it off the board completely.
I was going to say, if the last ban isn't Nocturne from XL,
they just go
they
to
were
Leah.
just going to swap it out. But they can just go to Leah now and get that into the jungle if they so choose, or into the mid lane. And
you're very right, BP is going to be Talia. That was banned consistently from XL beforehand, and it is a very strong pick right now in the current meta, so very happy to have that go over to Diabolus. And now XL have to make a decision. Obviously, I think they realize that Talia would be the first pick here, so they're going to have to respond. I mean, for me, what did I like? What have I liked? Yeah, there you go. I have liked that very much so from XL for both games on either Rippy or... I was talking about Hover, my bad. I thought it got locked in.
No, I do agree with you. I actually do like the Vladimir pickup, but I just really like the Camille as well. So I was going to say grab the two of them, and they do.
Oh, well, they do.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, right.
But that's what I was going to say. Was I really like the Camille lock in here, because the jungle has kind of been pinched, but she also does pretty well into Talia. She's got good early skirmish. You got a lot of early gank pressure as well. So I do like that, and the Vladimir just makes the most sense. But that's a very strong bottom lane lock-in for Cookie and Anthrax.
That is a punishing bottom lane. Now, if XL don't want to give away their AD carry position, they could potentially flex that for Rippy in the mid lane, given a matchup that he might be sort of comfortable into. So XL, I think, could pick a jungler here if it's not going to be Camille jungle, or if it's going to be Camille top lane, which also flexes. I like that a lot, or a support, which I imagine Fiddlesticks will be. Simply because now you're looking at this composition from XL as Diabolus, like, actually, where are any of those things going? We can probably assume that Fiddlesticks is bot, and I know that Fiddlesticks Vladimir is a good bot lane duo together, but it could be Vladimir mid. I'm
just putting it out there. Fiddlesticks and Heimerdinger are really good together.
Yeah, they are.
I'm just saying.
And Rippy was arguably the better Vladimir in the two games comparatively to Venzer.
I would say so.
I would say so too. So like XL could potentially go for it. They are banning away the Galio as well as the Riot. So I actually think they might think that the Vladimir is going on to Venzer, where I feel like XL, if they're smart, they'll flex it into mid.
I think, yeah, depending on, obviously they're not going to get the option for the matchup just yet, but if they do pick Heimerdinger, which is obviously not going to get picked for Diabolus, if they do pick Heimerdinger here, then it will telegraph that you think that the Vladimir is obviously going towards the mid lane. This is actually a quite complex draft for XL to navigate around if they want to play those mind games. They are strictly banning out those mid lane champions, of which have decent matchups into the Vladimir as well. The Cassiopeia is specifically a champion that has got a decent-ish matchup into the Vladimir. So that might give the idea over to Diabolus, although with the Aurelia ban, you just don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of tough, because I'm looking at Zeph and I'm like, this is really where we're going to see what his champion pool is made of. They could still flex the Talia to Zeph in the mid lane, but I just don't know what you pick for NG then. Like, you're kind of going fairly far down the rung, but they will have the counter pick still for XL on the bottom or on the opposite side, so you can still put that Camille into the top lane if you really want to as well. So there's a lot that's going to be that we need to wait and see what gets solidified with these picks because there's just so much still open.
The ultimate flex draft coming through from XL here, and we'll have to wait to see what Diabolus responds with.
I feel like I'm in blind pick. Like everyone's just like, I called mid. No, I called mid. I did it first. It said in the chat.
It does feel that way. I think this meta kind of feels that way, if I'm completely honest. The Mundo comes through here for Diabolus. They're going to follow up with the Skarner. So it is actually going to be going Zeph mid lane Talia, which is okay into Vladimir, for sure. You can shove him in quite early on and roam a lot, which is nice. And now it's up to XL to respond, and we finally get to see Master Ferndog's cards on the table with this final pick, depending on where they feel things they want to flex.
I'm kind of looking at the draft that's come through from Diabolos, though, and Skarner, I don't feel offers a lot into that composition. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be the Camille top, and I think that kind of solidifies my point even more, is Skarner doesn't really have anywhere that he can get involved in. It's very difficult for him to get onto the likes of the Ezreal on the bottom side of the map because he's so mobile, and it's very difficult to get onto Camille. Maybe he can get onto the Fiddlesticks, but realistically I just feel that NG isn't going to have many places he can go or have the impact that he needs, especially when you've got Taxer there as we start to move on into these team fights. He's just going to be so good at not only against the Mundo but against that Skarner as well. So I think overall I just prefer the team comp that's come out from XL. I think they've got answers for a lot that Diabolos want to do.
I do think they are going to struggle with a pure front line. I don't think they have, apart from the Trundle who can steal those statistics from, those defensive statistics from the Mundo. There isn't really a massive pure front line coming out from XL, and you do have to worry that with the burst potential coming from the Talia and even the Lucian to an extent, that front line might get melted very quickly for XL. So there is only one worry there, and it's a very late game scaling composition with a Vladimir and an Ezreal. I mean, Ezreal
and a Camille.
Yeah, and a Camille.
Yeah.
It's obviously they do okay with 2 items. Ezreal does okay on 2 items. Vladimir does okay, but you know the real power is going to come out in the later game. Because if I'm comparing Ezreal 2 items versus Lucian 2 items, I'm going to take Lucian every single day of the week, obviously, and the Talia versus the Vladimir as well. So mid-game spike is there for Diabolus. That is something that they've worked with. It's something that we can see success on as well. They need to execute on it.
And I think as well, if what we've seen from XL is that they don't really have that dive buddy for the Vladimir anymore. What we saw consistently was Rippy getting into the backline, but it's not really going to be Camille coming in. Sendo will want to be off on that split push against Flaxish. Taxter doesn't really have that dive. Maybe Quickset as Fiddlesticks is kind of the, but even then, that's still a bit of a stretch. So it's going to be a very different style of play coming through from XL, which I think again is kind of going and harking back to what we saw in the remade game. Is it's Sendo has to be the split pusher, Sendo has to be their win condition, and you need to buy time for him to get up towards those 2 very expensive core items.
I know I've probably harked on about this a lot, but level 6 is such a huge thing right now when you have globals. So like the Weaver's Wall, I want to see where Zeph goes with this. I want to see if he goes towards top side, try to get that going, keep the Mundo alive, or does he try and punish that bot lane? Because Ezreal Fiddlesticks can be safe, but it's also incredibly squishy. So if you can catch them out, get a seismic shove onto the Fiddlesticks, he's dead instantly.
Fiddle is like a paper.
Exactly.
He's literally a paper champion. If you get anything on him,
paper beats rock, so it doesn't work with this analogy.
Yeah, that's true. but in general, he's paper.
Yeah,
like you will tear him, and he will just die instantly. My worry for XL and teamfight situations, and it's a point that Rob raised. Obviously, with Vladimir, they generally tend to be diving. The problem with the way that they play this composition this time round is you've got a Skarner and a Mundo that you have to respect as a Vladimir. If you just pop and pull and then Skarner waits to ult you as soon as you come out the pool, you're just dead. Dunzoed. Completely written off the map. You have an Ezreal who wants to play a little bit further back, a snipe-style orientated composition there. And you have to get through a Mundo as an Ezreal and a Vladimir, which is just never going to happen. Like, you're never going to get through a Mundo, even with stealing the stats, even with potentially the still the mortal wounds that can come out, the grievous wounds can come out. It will be very difficult to punch through that front line of the Flaxish Skarner, and the diving is not quite going to be on the table for you. So I think you're right. I think Camille right now is that split push threat. Obviously you can dive with Camille, but even then it's Camille and a Vladimir, both of which I think can be easily picked off and kited easily, especially with the Braum, especially with the Skarner. So I'm worried for the straight teamfight potential of XL. That's my worry.
And I think that's why we're going to see a very different style. I don't think XL team fight as such. I think they just let Sendo do his thing, and if they ever go into these fights, they're just looking for disengage. They're looking for fire off, ping off those mystic shots with Ezreal. You're going to use the pool to disengage, because if you actually look at if you've got Flaxish off in the split push with Sendo, how do you really engage that? You've got to get a Predator from Skarner, but once he goes in, it's Taxer just ults him, puts down the pillar, he can't get back out. So he's not really going to want to do that, and then you don't really have much follow-up engage. You've got the Braum, but Braum needs to be in the front line to do that, and there's a lot of ways of getting around that as the team that have been put forward from Excel. So I think it's really come down to if they can disengage correctly and let Sendo do his thing.
I'm going to offer you a one-time deal. Going to offer you a one-time deal. This is my flip-flop. Do you want to flip-flop?
Wait, where? No,
you're both on XL.
I'm on XL now. I'm actually going to stick with XL.
Would you like to flip-flop?
I'm sticking to my guns. I think
it's a good flip-flop.
It is. The only thing I'm very worried about is
other
Taxer.
flip-flop brands are available.
Yeah. Don't put the
this
thing
way.
Yeah. But I think the biggest teller right now is how Taxer does, because we talked about how the last game it literally looked like he was inting, and frustration can creep in, and that is a big factor when you come into these big money games. Like there was a lot of online, not only just points for the tournament, but also cash prize for your organization. And I think it's going to be a thing, but I'm going to stick to XL to win.
I was going to make you put this on your head if you were going to flip-flop, so good thing that you didn't, because I actually quite like wearing my shoes.
It's a little bit cold in here.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a nice amount of air conditioning in this room, in a very sort of hot Spain, because we are in Barcelona, ladies and gentlemen.
Not to brag.
Not to brag. Not like we just were swimming this afternoon, chilling on the hotel roof pool or anything. As we wait to get into this game, I believe I can hear those very early signs of being in the game on Summoner's Rift for this final game of the series. So we'll just wait till we have a pure line there, which we do because it just got told in my ears that we're going straight to this game. So let's say what we've got on the Rift. It is going to be Diabolus on the blue side, XL on the red, and BP and Gosu. It's all you. And I'm going to look interested for the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah. Thank you.
Not that I'm not interested.
Yeah. I mean, with a game like this, could you really not be interested? I mean, it's just gone absolutely fantastic. You're just writing on the table now. Here, at least put it on the paper, will you?
Yeah. You know what? In fairness, I don't expect much else to happen in this early game.
Yeah,
but thank you, Scoundrel. I just read what he wrote. But we will see exactly how these lane matchups go. Obviously, Sendu versus Flaxish is the lane matchup we've been talking about all day. It's the one we've been kind of hyping up as such, and honestly, it's kind of not been the big matchup that we've been expecting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like fallen off. I'm gonna find it very difficult to capture.
Right, we got this. Let's go. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's obviously not becoming so much as a top lane, top dog show.
Yes.
It's becoming more about the mid lane and then the AD carries.
Yeah, and that was something that we never really looked at. The mid lane. But Jesus, that's an early Drake.
I was going to say, it's a very early Drake and a very early skirmish as we see them now all kind of cornered down. Unfortunately, Directed Camera has decided that we are going towards top lane as everyone disperses, so it knows best.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was we haven't really looked at the mid lane matchup because realistically it was Zeph has always been the facilitator for the likes of Flaxish, and every so often it's been down to Cookie. But instead, actually, we've seen him kind of step up into his own and shown that he's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh! Flash in with the kick combo. Double kick.
Where's your interest now?
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on.
What's going on?
I just said, ooh, really? What more do you want from me?
We're going to have a quick... we're going back out of that. But that was a pretty big play there from the side of XL. Sendu getting this early kill is huge for the laning phase because he misses all this wave as well.
Yeah, I know. And that was the thing. Like, level 3 was hit. Was not expecting that burst damage to come through. And that's a big misstep coming through from Flaxish, especially when he's supposed to be the one who goes against Sendo in this tower dive. And we were already saying that there was, Taxer, little bit of frustration creeping in. I can see it coming through for Flaxish as well now.
Yeah, we can actually see a little bit of tilt, a little bit of creep coming in, but we'll have to wait and see. Still very, very early in this game, 4 minutes in, an early advantage in the top side for Sendu, which is perfect for XL's game plan right now.
Yeah. This is good for the non-flip-flopping strategy that we've gone for, but let's see if it's going to be able to continue. Because right now I'm looking to see where So if I'm looking at Taxa right now, top side of the jungle, I'm seeing a big Mundo in that top lane that has no flash, or actually, sorry, does have the flash, but has no teleport to get back to lane, and you've got a lot of gank potential that can go down. You've got good setup with Sendo, you've got that pillar, and it looks like he's listening to me because he's making his way up towards the top side.
Yeah, definitely creeping himself up, trying to see if he goes. There is a ward in that bush, though, so he will be immediately spotted out. Flax just realizes this, throws an infected cleaver, and then just says, I'm out of here. It's almost like, oh, is he out of here, though? That's the question. Forced to flash, and that's actually a huge summoner down. Taxer, though, doesn't have any mana, needs to be a little bit careful from tanking those minions. Does end up backing away, but so far, the game plan from XL, keep the top lane healthy, that seems to be working for them.
Yeah, and good answer from NG as well. Flaxish gets out, now he's stealing 2 camps on the side of Taxer as well, and when you're looking at the bottom side of the map, there's not really any answer for Taxer to try and return that. You've got big lane priority coming through for Anthrax and Cookie, so you can't really go in and invade because you're just going to get collapsed on. Particularly when you've got the Talia there as well. She's going to be working up towards that level 6 very soon. She just walls you off, and Taxer's just done more harm than good from trying to pick up those camps. So he is a little bit behind now. You can see NG will be hitting that level 5 point very, very shortly. So this is kind of a case of Diabolos have wavered the storm a little bit on that top lane gank, but it's still that kill for Sendo, which is the big crucial point.
Yeah, and actually Sendo finds NG. I don't know if NG wants this right now. Talia is there to help if he needs it. Sendu does use the hook shot over the side and ends up getting away nice and easy as Zeph was roaming up.
Yeah, see, the beautiful thing when you're a jungler and you roam into the enemy's place and you're like, oh cool, there's 2 camps up here. Well, Taxer's going to be making his way down here, so I know I'm safe to go for the aggressive play up on the top side, see if I can help out Flaxish a little bit, but the mobility from Sendo meant that he was pretty safe the entire time. And he's also been able to spot that the Skull Crab has gone over on that top side as well, so it's going to be Taxer going, look, I don't know if I can really get into that top lane anymore.
Yeah, we see now Quickstep and Taxer just pushing in. They want to try and maybe get this mid lane going. Weaver's Wall and Hemoplague both available for either respected mid laner for Diabolos and XL. We'll see exactly how they push this one down. They do put the Squire's Bloom, does get spot out the Braum, but because that is going down, they obviously have information about where they are, and everyone can play a little bit safer as the Trundle takes his own little invade and gets himself a little bit of a reward. So
I want to cast our eyes down to this bottom lane matchup now. So we're already talking about it. Cookie and Anthrax have been great on these champions. We've seen them get kills just by themselves on Lucian and Braum previously. They're into Venzer and Quickset. The Ezreal and the Fiddlesticks aren't great in lane together. It's, yes, you got a little bit of poke, you got a little bit of pushback, but realistically an all-in could still come through and could be absolutely devastating for these guys. So this is where I really see Diabolos kick it up a notch. Cookie and Anthrax have been pretty out of whack, to be honest, compared to the regular selves. They haven't had the same spark that we've seen before, so I'm hoping that this time around, this is the game that we really see them kick off.
And you can see the respect for the poke as well coming out from the side of XL as Diabolos bot lane picked themselves up a little bit of a white flash, but they picked themselves
up. Don't go towards the light, Flaxish. Don't go towards the light.
You already died once. You don't need to do it again. But yes, the Vampiric Scepter is a massive amount of just kind of self-healing, keeps himself healthy. You've got that with the Relic Shield and the Dorn Shield. You shouldn't really, is probably a better way to put it, not die or take significant damage from this Ezreal Fiddlesticks poke. So I like that little adaptation from Cookie.
Yeah, waiting to see now what way this jungle matchup is going to go as well, because Taxer has most certainly been on top of things overall, and again, this is kind of, we're seeing NG off the Sejuani, goes very passive. Yes, you're a Skarner, yes, you want that level 6, but it's kind of been a similar story over and over again.
Yeah, as we see the Pillar of Ice goes down with the Hemoplague, forcing the flash there from Zeph. That's a big summoner down as we see another little bit of an engage on top side. Sendu gets out, perfectly timing it with the turret shot, doesn't take any rebuttal damage. And overall, XL feeling good, forcing the sadism from Flaxish's Mundo. And honestly, right now, XL, they're in a decent spot.
I'm looking to see how Sendo versus Flaxish continues to go, because Sendo is going to back very shortly. He's running a bit low on mana. We'll be able to pick up the Tiamat as well, and then this becomes a much heavier shove in that lane, and that'll be really interesting to see. But NG hasn't really been able to find his way in towards anywhere. I see level 6 hit. This is where he's trying to get active now. Bottom lane is on the cards for him, but coming behind the turret like that, and when you've got Quickset there on the Fiddlesticks, makes it incredibly difficult to get into that lane.
Yeah, it's, as we said, a very safe lane. A lot of ways you can kind of deal with it, but at the same time, it's still very difficult to get yourself in, especially when you're a Skarner who has to be that close. Hoping to see the Weaver's Wall as the actually engage comes in. Little or no mana left on Venzer, so he needs to be careful within this lane. Flaxish does not have his ultimate available. Does trade favorably to Sendo. Nice little cleaver on the backside as well. Ooh. Flash immediately from Taxer. He does not want anything to do with NG. And that is a massive amount of respect given to that Skarner. Yeah,
he was not expecting to find Zeph in that jungle as well. And that's where we're talking about the lane priority. Rippy had shoved in. They thought they were safe to get some vision control down and allow Sendo to continue to punish Flaxish because he knows he's going to be safe on the top side. But finds Zeph, finds NG, and is like, nope, I want nothing to do with this. I'm straight out of there. Good call, because overall that could have gone very poorly very quickly with that Skarner ult available.
Yeah, and XL, they haven't really done much with the advantages they've been able to occur for themselves. The Flash now back up on Flaxish. He's got his TP back up as well, so there's no real advantage there. TP was just used by Sendo to get back into the lane and keep that push going. You know, the Flash from Zeph is, you know, not really a big issue right now because it's going to be another minute and a half before, you know, he's even in a bad position. So XL kind of not really doing much with the small advantages they've, you know, kind of accumulated.
Yeah, they do have a bit of advantage, but right now the cards are in Diabolus' hands. You've got the teleport onto Flaxish, you've got that ultimate and that Predator coming up very shortly even for NG. And you've got the ultimate for Zeph. This is where they need to make the map play. This is where they need to, if it is the bottom lane that they want to go aggressive for, go for it now. But looks like with Fiddlesticks running up towards the top lane, this might be where they need to try and turn around what XL are trying to do.
Yeah, here we go. They're going to see Flaxish getting jumped on. Has got the stopwatch, though. I don't know if it's going to be much use to him. Flashing away. Does get the Pillar of Ice in his face as well. Still healing, but not enough. Flaxish goes down for a second time. But while that's all happening, it's going to be a 4-man committal to this top lane turret as Ezreal's forced away from the bot lane, so they're going to trade turrets and they'll kill XL with the advantage.
And this is where XL looks strongest, where they're able to turn around what Diabolos want to do. They're just not giving them the chances to get to the levels where it's like, cool, now we can make this big dive play. Now we can play our style that we're famous for, that dive potential, that 3-man up in the top lane. They've shut it down. Sendo is very, very far ahead. And this is just XL starting to take over this game bit by bit. And this is what I was hoping to see, was that they could try and go for the dives that Diabolus have been famous for. But again, this is coming back kind of to NG. Hasn't got that big early game jungler that he can make the pressure happen on. Is on the Skarner, but you have to wait till that level 6, and that's enough time for XL to run away with it.
Yeah, it is. Fear does land onto Anthrax, who's forced to use the Glacial Fissure and his stopwatch. As we see, there is the ultimate impaled onto Sendu. They trade 1 for 1. You'll take that trade if you're on the side of Diabolos. They finally get themselves a first kill of this game. Flash burn there by Rippy. Knows he would have been in a lot of trouble had he gotten caught out there, and ends up being a 1 for 1 trade. Support for top laner, and the kill goes over to Talia.
Yeah, we're going to jump into a quick replay though. You can see here, great engage coming through from Sendo, but this is just perfect for Braum here. Anthrax throws down the Glacial Fissure, and every member of XL is separated there, so nobody can follow up. You can see Rippy goes a little bit too far forward to try and help Sendo, who's been trapped up. Instead, ends up having to blow his flash to get over because they didn't know where Cookie was. He could have been popping up at any point in time as he's come from the base. Wasn't quite there, but you're better off safe than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you have the summoners there. You know, you might as well use them as to keep yourself as safe as possible. But overall, does lead to about a 1,500 gold lead in favor of XL. Pretty minute as at this point in the game, not really a massive amount, but the Rift Herald was stopped as well, so Taxer was starting that objective and didn't quite get it.
Sorry, your use your summoner spells to keep you safe was just reminding me when my brother started playing League of Legends. He flashed to lane so he could get to lane faster than the other person to get bush control. It's just like, hey, better safe than sorry.
That's mind games right there. I used to have a friend I still have a friend, but he used to think that Soraka ult had a proximity.
Oh, hang on.
As I say that though, no flash there onto Rippy, and he's going to get ripped to shreds as he gets taken down there. Diabolos capitalizing on no summoners on the Vlad.
Okay, but what are they going to be able to get? They've got the Cloud Drake there. You've got XL still pushing in these lanes though. You've got Venzer who's pushed into the mid lane, so it's not like they're getting anything out of these. Yes, the kill is nice. It does go into the hands of Talia, but it's not gaining you any big things overall.
Yeah, just a little bit of gold, nothing major for either side. And XL gotta be a little bit more careful. I know we talked about how, you know, the Skarner doesn't do a huge amount apart from run at you, as we see the Weaver's Wall come in, but straight away we see the Scarecrow over the wall, but I don't think he's got much else place to go, forcing his flash away after the ultimate in. Crow Storm not exactly doing what he wanted it to do. Yeah,
I could see the idea was good, where I was like, oh, we can go for the re-engage. They're committing onto Venzer, and then it was like, wait, that's a Taliyah wall. That's not, I don't want to. I want to be on the other side.
Where did you go?
So ends up getting caught on the wrong side of town, forced to blow his flash to get away. But again, it's kind of Excel have lost a few flashes. It's been burned on the side of Diabolus as well, but overall, it's just kind of a back and forth, tip for tap. Maybe not so much in this top lane though.
Yeah, we see the Hextech ultimatum come down. Trundle pops over his pillar as well. They're looking to keep Flaxius down. There's the fear. There's the drain. And Sendu picks himself up a third kill, as XL really want to lay down the hurt right now.
Yeah, and they've also got Vladimir on the bottom side.
Oh, that is a flash impale as Venzer does go golden. There's the fear, but there is the Braum. He actually completely misses. Doesn't matter. He totally calculated it. He wanted to get the Q down and get the kill. They end up backing away off of that. Taliyah is in the bot side with the Vladimir. Overall, ends up being a 1-for-1. A pretty basic mistake from Venzer right there.
Yeah, you can see fatigue setting in. This has been a long, draining series for these teams. And Venzer walking through River by himself, not taking the safe route, ends up costing his team this mid lane turret.
Yeah, or will it? No, they actually respect it, because right now here comes Rippy as he comes in. No flash available for the Skarner, and he will get blown to bits right now as Taliyah just a little bit too late on that roam. And that's going to be, it's tit for tat right now. It's 1-for-1, 1-for-1. There's no stopping in the action right now.
And that's exactly how the last game went as well. It was Excel getting ahead in the early and then able to keep pushing, but Diabolus make their comeback. And this is it again, Excel pushing that advantage that they had early. They got the kill onto Sendo. He ends up picking up another one. And you already saw from previously, they've taken a good chunk of damage onto that bottom lane turret. Venzer now ends up getting caught out, but we're straight into a fight.
We are straight into a fight. It looks like XL wanted to try and take this Rift Herald. Diabolus did not want him to get it for free. They do end up killing off the Braum, but where is the rest of the side of Diabolus? They're not able to really contest this one. They look like they're just going to go for the mid lane turret, take it as a little bit of a trade. Rift Herald for a tower. And honestly, XL, they seem to own the pace of this game right now.
Yeah, it's kind of important that they got that Rift Herald, because they want to be able to push through this mid lane. We're going to see the replay of the fight. So basically, you can see Anthrax ends up tanking up a little bit of the Crows there. Nothing too major, but Quickset playing on sentry duty as we're waiting for the rest of them. Channels the ultimate, ends up getting caught up right in the middle, and you see pretty much everyone's like, Anthrax, sorry, you're on your own.
Yeah, straight away, nobody wanted anything to do with that.
Yeah, but this is what I was going to say was they pick up the Rift Herald and they need that to try and crack open this mid lane turret. You've already seen a huge amount of damage onto this top lane turret, so if they can maybe transition over from the mid lane to that, it would be really handy. But in order to do so, they have to crack open the mid lane so they can put the wards down, make their way through and try and accelerate this game, rather than having this kind of sloppy mid game, which gave Diabolus the opportunity to come back. Taxer though spots out any kind of potential Diabolus have of bringing something back.
And Sendu does have flash, so even if he did get caught, I feel like he had plenty of escapes to get himself out of there without taking too much damage or too much risk. And while that was all happening, I'm heavy commit in the top side. Rippy takes down the turret down bot.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just kind of easy for Excel. They've got good control. They're spotting out the plays that Diabolus are making, and it's kind of Diabolus again doubling down on what was good. We have one with sending multiple members to these side lanes, trying to catch people off guard. But against Excel, it just they haven't found a home for it. They haven't found any way of making the concrete win come forward for the team, and it's cost them a lot.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Another Scarecrow Storm on the horizon. Ignite goes down. Will it be enough? Actually, no. Forcing the flash out of him as well. But Flash is 0 and 4. it's just not been a great day. And Sendu's found himself behind the team now as they look to try and dive for top side. He does get the stun. There's the Glacial Fissure coming out, but there's just too much damage on this Camille. Skyner says, I'm so sorry, Anthrax. I am out of here. XL are destroying right now. They are completely owning this game.
You are losing in the bottom lane. You're now losing in the top lane, and XL are cracking open everything that Diabolos have left standing. They're now pushing in towards this top lane turret as well. The Rift Herald goes down. It's going to be, you know what? Screw the mid lane turret. We want those 2 inner turrets.
Yeah, absolutely crazy amount of play coming here. Such high tempo from XL. And honestly, it's kind of more down to the fact that it's such crazy amounts of, like, you know, disrespect, if you like, from Diabolos. They're not respecting the damage that can come out. They're not respecting the fact that they have no vision, and they're not respecting XL to be faster.
And they better start respecting that Sendo in the top lane. Camille is very quickly working up towards those 2 core items we were saying. They are so expensive to get, but who really cares when you've got 5 kills?
Yeah, as I see, Sendu just going to jump over the wall there. Took the red buff and said, there's nothing you can do to me there. And a 5-1-2 Camille with 20 CS over her opponent is ridiculous at this stage of the game.
Yeah, if you look at it like you've got the Triforce completed, I was hoping, where's the buy?
There it is.
Oh, it's actually a QSS. Okay, so going for the safer route, but even then, it just means it's impossible for NG to help out in this split push scenario now, because the whole idea is lock them up. We can try and get the damage down to burst her before she's available again. So it's just a case of that Flaxish is now going to be pretty much left on his lonesome against the Camille, who should just utterly destroy him in that split push. So Excel, their win conditions are just completely ahead.
And honestly, Flaxish on this Mundo, again, like game 1, not really inspiring. And I feel like Diabolos are falling into that trait again of, we know how to deal with you. And it's put, you know, so many teams are going to pick up onto this, and we might see them like last tournament, they were in the final, they won it. This tournament, it potentially not even making the final. The next tournament, we don't even know who else is going to kind of catch on to them. And it's a very scary position for Diabolos.
And we posed a question at the start of the day, who was the better top laner? It's been answered.
Yeah, it has been answered as Taxer takes a full culling to the back. Full massage as we see there. Quickset trying to come in on top of this with his ultimate, but doesn't really have the movement speed to go for it. But it doesn't matter because Sendu is just so big. Quicksilver sashes coming in handy for both the Fiddlesticks and the Camille as he jumps in with the double kill, maybe even the triple kill. It will eventually go down, and that is actually, no, I lie. It's a Vladimir who gets the shutdown there. 4 for 2 as a cleaver to the face does take out the Venzer, but overall, this Camille is just too big.
Yeah, far, far too big, and the collapse from Excel is phenomenal as well. They're just tearing through Diabolos, and I don't know where they're supposed to find their opening right now. It just seems impossible. Everything that they try to do is just being shut down. Like, this looks like a great play for them. They can see they catch out Taxer. Great, we've got the kill. We've got something. Instant TP. And look at all the different angles they're coming in from. You've got Venzer on the top side who's poking down damage as they try to go for quick set. He does get the flash over the wall, which keeps him safe, which means the entire time they're just eating up this damage. And Zeph actually kind of just catches his own team members there. He stops Ninja and Cookie from escaping, and then it's just a case of Accelerate to follow through. And Venzer,
I want to see this. It's like, oh guys, we did it.
It's just
we did
wait
so
a
well.
second, hang on.
I think there's a Mundo in this game. Yeah, I think he's bot lane. Boom. It is a bit disgusting when it happens. And there's nothing else, because the fact that he arcane shifted into the Baron pit, procced it, had to flash back over because he was going to die to the Baron. He did everything okay, and then it was just like, Mundo. But that is a very small negative on what is a fantastically positive win for the side of XL. And they're going to, use that, momentum to get themselves a Cloud Drake, to get themselves a little bit more movement speed. And already we're seeing a Titanic Hydra, a Ravenous Hydra finished up with the Triforce as well. This Camille, unless you commit absolutely everything onto her, she's not going to die.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She has the QSS as well. So even if you do commit everything, there's still the chance she escapes. Right now, Diablos are just everything that they want to do has been shut down. Taxer was able to get into the top lane and help out Sendo early. It didn't help that Flaxish gave over that early kill, but even then it was just continuously helping the snowball, helping things kick off. And this is where we were saying, like, Venzer and Quicksand in the bottom lane, they just wanted to play it safe. They just took it easy, they farmed up, they didn't need to just, once they just didn't give anything across the Diablos, they've done their job. That's exactly what they did, and now it's all about the Sendo game.
It's all about Sendu, and it's so difficult to see, like you said, where you come back into this if you're Diablos. And it's kind of a similar situation to the first game, where you kind of hope that, if you're a Diablos fan, that you hope that the side of XL just do monumental mistakes and, you know, leave the Camille open when they're not pushing anybody, and they all just 5-man on the bot side. That's what you're looking for on the side of Diablos, because the longer this game goes, unless you're going to 50 minutes, it's still going to be a bad situation for you.
Yeah, and how do you try and commit for a 5-man fight? Because if you go towards Baron, XL are just going to have Camille take your inhibs. Like, there's no other way around it. And then if you leave Flaxish there, Camille just takes the Mundo, then takes their inhibs. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter. You're going to be losing those inhibs regardless until you commit multiple members down there, and then you're losing the Baron. It's just this slow grip that's been put onto Diablos, and it's the chokehold from XL that's going to slowly tide them into the victory.
See how they go for a vision control is key right now, and there's the ultimate from the Fiddlesticks as they try and just jump in on top of this. Not able to get much out of it, but does get the culling out of, and the TP out of Flaxish. That was very, very quick on the mark.
Yeah, they just thought the fight was coming. They were like, right, we're going to go ahead and try and commit to this. And it cost Flaxish the TP. And we're already saying the struggles they're going to have trying to help this Camille against the Mundo matchup. Now you don't even have the Mundo to try and TP to help you out in this Baron. It's just XL playing Diablos like a fiddle.
Yeah, really know exactly how to go. And Diablos, you talked about fatigue, and that was just a proto belt and immediately a flash. Antrax has to respect that, and right now it's just such a difficult game for Diablos. And XL, not to take away from them whatsoever, they've played this so well. They are playing fantastically despite an incredibly frustrating game too.
But Diablos have to play this super safe. I mean, look at the vision for them right now. It's just red wards littered everywhere up towards that Baron. So Anthrax didn't know if there was going to be, you know, Venzer coming in from side where the quick set was, if Taxer was just going to flash in on top of him. So, as you were saying, you know, better safe than sorry, but it's this complete control over the entire map that XL are just able to continue finding success.
I bet XL are wishing Krumel was onto the...
See, all... Yeah.
You know,
God damn it.
It's memes, ladies and gentlemen. It's just memes. I'm sure they are very happy with Zeph, who has played fantastic. Or sorry, Diablos, I'm sure, are happy with Zeph.
The only thing I'm seeing is just Twitch chat going, Excellion, over and over again.
But yeah, you know, sometimes coming into it, like, you know, XL, they have the structure, they have, you know, the backhouse staff, you know, those kind of setups can't be, you know, taken lightly. You know, you come after a game one where it's a bit of a slugfest, but you come through it and you kind of, you know, after a mid-game kind of lull, you do come back into it, and it looks so good for them in game 3.
And don't forget, this is the XL who were knocked out early in the first scoring tournament. They needed this to make sure that they can keep up, because XL aren't looking for just a win, they're looking for European Masters.
They are looking for European Masters, and Antrax is the first person to die on that throne. The hills are looking very, very green for XL as they keep pushing in. Rippy just ripping through absolutely everybody. There's no one who can take him down. Zonya's just for a little bit of flash as Sendu jumps in on the backside. It is a clean 5-0 ace in favor of XL as they turn onto Baron.
And Diablos have officially fallen from the throne. They looked so strong coming into this. Could anyone commit to any sort of fight with them? XL step up to the mark. They've taken them down. Well, they haven't taken them down yet, but it's most certainly looking like it. And overall, XL have firmly planted themselves as not only a funnel strategy team, not only a team that can be knocked out in the early stages, they are a team to be reckoned with.
Firmdog, oh, okay. Staying a little bit too long, but Firm Dog, I apologize for taking you as a number 14, but let's have a look at this fight, because this is just a huge wombo.
Yeah, it's just great engage from Quickset again. He's spinning in the right place, the right time and time again. And you can see here, Rippy, this is what we were talking about, just tearing through the back line, finding the flanks that he needs. And Diabolos are just ducking and covering where they can. It's not even a case of, oh, peel for Cookie, peel for the back line. It's every man for themselves at this stage. And Sendo, look how much distance he covers with this. Just starts off at the entrance into jungle and ends up in the enemy base in less than a second. It's just, oh, okay, this is desperation now.
This is all you have left. If you play standard from now on, you lose. But the problem is you need someone to walk over here in order for it to happen. And I don't think anyone's going to walk over for a Cloud Drake.
But it also means you're completely out of position.
Exactly.
So if Excel just run it down mid, which it looks like they're doing, Diabolos aren't in a position to stop that.
It's not actually a Cloud Drake, I apologize, it's an Ocean Drake. But yes, now Diabolos are completely on the backside of this fight, and they are in a wrong position. They can't even defend their base right now as it gets sieged from 2 different lanes. They've got a big wave on bot side, but that literally means nothing as the Weaver's Wall has to be used defensively as they just try and get back up on top of this top side. But there's so many minions, they eventually get to it. But that was just... Again, you're all out of ideas, you're all out of plans. The turret falls, the inhibitor's going to fall as well. They can rotate up to the top side, take that one as well. XL are just dominating the side of Diabolos. And Diabolos, they wear the Devil Kings, but right now they're kind of looking like... I don't even know what to compare them to.
And this is where we're like, okay, where's the carry potential for Excel? Who's going to be the ones to step up? And every single game, it's been a different person. It's been Sendo this game. It was Rippy in the first game that we had. Venzer's been doing absolutely phenomenal as well throughout the series. And the unsung hero has been Taxer, who shut down everything that NG wanted to do. It's just been completely in control of Excel start to finish this game. And we were talking, had Diabolos given up? Have they just been like, look, we can only play this one style? And Excel have just been like, look guys, we've read you like a book the entire way through, and it's time to end your story.
Yeah, read you like a good book, because why would you read a bad one? And it's just been...
I mean, 50 Grades of Shade, or...
Yeah.
Shades of Grey sold pretty well, so...
Yeah, that's true, actually. That is very true, and that was a pretty terrible book. Also, unpopular opinion. I don't know if I should say this, but I think the Harry Potter books are poorly written.
I have about 3 friends that are typing angrily towards you right now.
Oh, here we go. I have angered a lot of people. I think it's a great universe. I think, great setup, but I just think the books are poorly written. But that is only filler until we get to this bot lane turret as XL finally look to try and end this. Sendu up in the mid lane to deal with Flaxus, and honestly, I don't even think Flaxus is dealing with him. I think he's just there as a security blanket of like, it doesn't do anything, but it's there. Okay.
I mean, right now, Sendo is firmly in control of just shoving in this top wave. It's like, Flaxus just can't do anything. There's zero that he can do right now. Desperately trying to clear out these minions. Cookie is also there to try and help him out, but that means you've got the numbers advantage in the bottom lane, and Excel are just, again, continuing this slow, unstoppable force forward.
Yeah, and it really is unstoppable, as this might be the final engage coming up very, very soon. We see the Mundo forced to use his ultimate very quickly, but here comes the Vladimir and just bursts down everybody. Lucian falls, Braum next to follow. The Nexus turrets are not long for this world. TPs, Shenanigans, Zonias, and XL are in the final.
And what a way to do it as well. They have played outstanding. They were just in the face of Diabolos time and time again. The one mistake in that second game was really what cost them. They bring it back for the third game, and what a way to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I think XL showed us that they are definitely returning to form. I do applaud you, gentlemen. Flip-flop connoisseurs, you know when to buy and know when to not. And
I've played Monopoly. I'm really good.
I'm 1 for 1.
Yeah, right, you've done well. And it was indeed 2-1 to XL, so the original BP prediction I'll take at full value, so you can cash that in for
is it like Bitcoin?
2 pairs of flip-flops maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, sweet. We'll go back to that story.
But regardless, guys, it was really impressive from XL. I mean, from the very get-go, they knew their win condition of Sendu. They invested resources into making it happen. And this is that little fight around the Rift Herald you can see here. Just honestly, I think Diabolus just looked lost. I think with Flaxus being behind without being able to invest their resources in the top lane, they just really looked lost.
And I think that's the big issue for Diabolus. We touched on it a little bit, if Flaxius gets behind, they don't do well. The game 2, Flaxius was on even terms and then was able to get a little bit ahead, so they were able to do a lot more with it. But Flaxius in game 1 and in game 2 just did not look like he had anything to do with that game, and it just kept getting so much pressure thrown on top of him, and Diabolus were like, what do we do now?
I think you even remove it one step back again. It's really been NG who, if he isn't able to help Flaxius, and I'm not saying that as in Flaxius always needs help in these scenarios, but he definitely gets a lot of pressure from this guy, and I think that makes Flaxius look very strong and very comfortable in these lanes. But you can see, like, the early kill for Sendo went across, and when NG's not on a champ that can have this early pressure, we saw it on the Zac, now we saw it on the Scanner as well, the team just look lost because they're missing that big early game pressure that must come from the shot calling of NG.
I actually want to say that was actually really important for the observers to show us there, the True Shot Barrage, because it kills the minion wave and delays this a little bit longer and kind of, you know, gets them that little bit more time bot side. Then we see the engage coming in, and what are you going to do against Sendu right here? He's just got so much against it. He doesn't even get touched.
No, it's like 2-shot almost there. Venza teleports in, didn't even need to teleport in there. And actually, funnily enough, I was actually just talking in the game. Apparently, before the game, everybody on XL was feeling good, apart from Venza, who was tilted. Venza was tilted because he had to play Vlad, and he and he was like, I don't mind playing Vlad, but I think Venza apparently likes to feel like he's impactful. So he likes to feel like he's the one actually having an outright impact in the game. He likes to see the damage that he does. So even though Venza actually had the most damage in the game that time round on the Vladimir, didn't feel like he was having the impact that he would have done on a traditional carry that we see Venza play. So him on the Ezreal this time round, you saw he was much more comfortable. I think the unsung hero, Quickseth. I think Quickseth was the unsung hero of this game. Some of those ultimates, the way he zoned out, the way he set up team fights, really good stuff. And honestly, this XL roster is starting to show the potential that we knew that they had from the very get-go.
And that was something that we pointed out at the start as well in that champ select, was how do these guys actually get a fight going as well? Because it was kind of a case of, we were giggling about it. It was like, oh yeah, Quickseth, he's going to be the one to engage. And then he does this.
Then
like,
he was. That was it. Like, and I think the big thing there was that it's almost like looking at NA versus EU and Rift rivals. Diabolus didn't have a clue what to do against the Fiddlesticks. They didn't know how to deal with it, they didn't know how to shut it down, they didn't know what to do when they didn't have vision around it. And it was just simple things like that that just kind of really told the story of the game. And, you know, we look at these replays and it's kind of the same story over and over again as Zeph really,
this is hilarious.
He really left his team out to dry here, and he just about gets the
but see, look here, Cookie can't get out because of the Hextech ultimatum, which means NG's stuck there as well. So it just created this funnel that nobody could escape through.
So XL used a funnel.
Well, Diabolos helped them funnel. I'm not sure.
I guess.
And also, Rippy looks much more at home on Vladimir than we think Venza did in general. I think Rippy looked really strong there. And Taxa, you put him on Trundle, something that he performed across EU Masters with, and he performs once more. I mean, who would have thought? And actually, that's Diabolus did take the first Forge of Champions tournament, of course. Yes. XL gearing themselves up to the final now, and I guess we should turn our eye towards that, because that is going to be our next game. XL now have to either face Enclave or Hyperion, which I think overall we all are in accordance that it's probably going to be a Enclave game. I know Oshin is valiantly riding the Hyperion hype train.
I am the conductor.
But if Enclave
flop,
if Enclave play the way that they have done over the last couple of games that I have seen them play, the way that Rifty's been playing, the way that the whole team has kind of come together, Monkids, who has been unbelievably good in his series, I honestly think Hyperion are going to have a tough time.
Yeah, I do agree as well, but I think, you know, before we jump into that one as well, like, I think we can kind of say studs or duds in this particular one. I know EULCS use it a lot, but I think obviously in Euro Taxer was the big stud. I think the biggest dud for Diabolus was Cookie. Cookie did not look comfortable. Cookie did not look impactful. Cookie did not look like he was able to do much.
I'm gonna disagree, because I think in the second game Cookie was on fire with Zeph. I think personally, guys, I think it's difficult across the whole series to pick out someone that really didn't have the impact. I'm personally going to say NG. I think NG was my dud, and I think my stud, I'm going to roll with Sendu. I think Sendu was out and out one of the best performers from XL across the games. I think NG did not look comfortable, even when he was on Sejuani. I think there was some shaky moments there, some absolute ex-Smithy moments with his ultimates, and I think Sendu for me was a big stand-up performer.
Yeah, I think I got to go with I gotta go with NG as the dud. I was saying consistently he just doesn't look strong when he doesn't have something like the Sejuani we can get in and be that early influence. And I'm gonna go with Taxer actually as well. I think he had a standout performance in a lot of the games, and it wasn't so much. It wasn't the flashy
the second game.
Yeah, that one. but in the early stages, he helped out quite a lot. Particularly when he was just matching toe for toe where NG was going to be. It shut down a lot of what Diabolus wanted to do and helped Excel kind of babysit through the early game.
Let's take a look at the bracket then, as we will have an updated version for you. XL firmly find them their way into the final spot there, as you can see. And actually their first test had been that Diabolus. They were 2-0 across every other, even M&M, who they fell to in the previous tournament. And they find themselves nestled, ready to play tomorrow, that best of 5 for the crown of the Forge of Champions 2. Which is obviously worth more points than Forge of the Champions 1 tournament. So that's going to be good if XL are looking to get their hands on it. But like we said, they have their opposition to go up against. I know I brought it in a little bit earlier, but Hyperion versus Enclave coming up after the break. Again, Enclave look on form. Hyperion looking to derail that. We'll talk about it a little bit as we get to it. And as you can see here, that is on your screen. It should have started an hour ago, an hour and 15 ago, but...
But did you really want to miss that though?
No, exactly. But that was an incredible series from XL and Diabolus, and I don't think anybody could have predicted how close it would have been. I think we all said that it was going to be a good series. Didn't expect it to be that good, but XL definitely looks stronger coming out of that series. Now, as we gear up for this Hyperion Enclave match, I want you guys to have a little think. I'm going to give you some homework for the break. I want you to think about...
Does it anything to do with what you wrote on the table earlier on? Or?
No, I wrote OK memes, Casticam lull. is what I wrote on that piece of paper. I want you to have a think about, for me, who on Hyperion, because I think we're all in accordance, even Blood Penguin, that Enclave are the favourites coming in here. Who on Hyperion are you looking for? And I won't get you to answer now. Who on Hyperion are you going to look out to stand out and step up to the plate to carry this game? Not going to get your answers now. It's homework. And for you guys at home, homework for the break. And speaking of break, we're going to go to one, and then when we come back, we'll have the Enclave versus Hyperion match.